I got audio playing again in the background here.
You do a little bit.
I do. Trying to turn it off. Like a couple of amateurs are in here. There we go. All right. What in the world? Apparently that monitor had a speaker turned on it. Welcome back to episode 343 of the Guide and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guide guns and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this week's show, we'll be talking about how strong are you, Doug?
Pretty strong, I think, maybe. But I am getting older.
Yeah, getting older. But strong in some ways, weaker in others, but maybe getting stronger in other areas. We'll talk all about that here in a minute. First of all, if we want to thank our bandwidth sponsor, Primary Arms. Primary Arms is sending us all kinds of cool gadgets. I got a box in the mail, and it got a little dinged up, but I think it's okay. They sent me a rifle barrel for an AR, and so I will have to open that up here momentarily, and we'll take a look at it. If I brought a knife down with me, I usually have one on my side. And I reached down, and I couldn't find one, but I think I saw one right here. So I will dig that out here in a moment. But if you guys don't know, Primary Arms has picked up Guy and Guns podcast to sponsor our show, and we really appreciate it. No, that's an empty nice cave. They have picked up the show, and they are been really good to us. They send us all kinds of cool stuff to play with and try out. And this month, they are selling their barrels, and I will put a link in the show notes for you guys to be able to go find out about that. You can go find out more about Primary Arms at primaryarms.com. But, excuse me, I inhaled a fly or frog, cricket, something. But you can find out more about Primary Arms by going to primaryarms.com, and we have a link that we'll put in our show notes so you can find later. Let me take a drink before I start coughing too. I've been outside, and something out there has got my throat itching. There's all kinds of stuff in the air, pollen and dust and everything else going on out here on the farm. But go check out primaryarms.com. The information about the barrels I'll mention a little bit later in the show as well. But Farms Radio Network, of course, Guide and Guns is a founding member of the Farms Radio Network going all the way back to 2013. And so almost 10 years. We're working on our 10th year right now. And if you've not checked out other shows on Farms Radio Network, please do. We have lots of our friends are over on the other shows. Of course, Paul Markle, you guys know Steal the Gun. They're part of Farms Radio Network. We've got uh, um, Reloading Podcast, This Week in Guns. We got We Like Shooting. We got, I mean, there's just more I can name. There's several new shows out there. They're pretty cool. You got to check those guys out too. Also, want to thank Patriot Patch Company. I do have a patch with me this week. I don't think I've opened this one, or maybe I did open this one. I've got a new patch upstairs that just came in today, I think. This one is Love is Patient. It's got the artist rendition on it. And sticker, Love is Patient. That might be an old one, but you can
That's
check.
cool.
Yeah. So you can check those patches out. They've got a Patch of the Month Club. So you get a new patch, cool, creative, new, with all kinds of cool ideas. Every month they come up with a new one. I've got a bunch of them cards laying here and stuff like that. But if you like morale patches, it also comes with a sticker, so you can put it on your drinking vessel, your vehicle, your computer, wherever you like to stick stickers at. You can put them on there, and go over and check out patriotpatch.co. Give Jake a little love and tell him you appreciate supporting our show. And we really appreciate them supporting our show as well. There will be a link also in the show notes for you guys to be able to link to that. Well, this week's Guide and Gun activities, it's been a couple weeks now. You had some activities of killing gators and stuff, and I had some things going on. We were back in our houses respectively. So what you been up to since we last spoke?
I have been running quite a bit, but the God side, of course, I've been doing my Sportsman's Daily Devotional. Been keeping up with that. The gun side, of course, everyday carry, but I did get a chance last week we went down to Lake Seminole for our gator hunt, and we man, we probably saw 100 gators a night, and a lot of them were like that, but
Hmm.
little ones. But we did get on a few big ones. We just could not um, get in there and get a hook in one of them. So
I
we
had
are
to use
actually going.
treble hook, didn't you?
We did have to use treble hooks, and them big gators don't get big for no reason. So
They ain't no
they
dummies.
they are not dummies. They're pretty smart. But we're going back again, and I ain't gonna be messing around this next time. We're gonna see if we can't get on them, and hopefully, hopefully we will. But there's a guide down there that we know, the guys know, and man, he's been killing them. Put a picture on one tonight or tonight that he went out sometime last night and got an 11.8, I think he said it was. He killed a
Wow.
12 foot 9 inch one the day before we got down there. He got one. So they're there. It's just you gotta be smarter than the gator, and yeah, when you're not going with a guide and you're doing it on your own, hey, it's a learning experience. But I did get down there, man. It was kind of a little bit messed up our first night hunting. I couldn't get my boat to get up on plane,
Hmm.
and I couldn't figure out what was going. It run about half throttle. It was kind of cutting out and stuff. But I hadn't ran my boat in probably 3 years, so it'd been sitting up.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuel
so we
go
got
bad,
back.
ain't it?
Huh?
Fuel go bad.
No, the fuel was okay because I started it set and purr like a kitten when it was idling. When you just try to get on it. So I got up early the next morning. and- Well, I pretty much stayed up, but early the next morning when stuff started opening up, there's a boat repair place down there that I found a couple places, and I called the guy and I was like, "Man, we're down here on a 3-day alligator hunt. We've already done day one, and my boat's giving me some problems." I said, "Is there any way you can get it in to check it?" He said, "Yeah, man, bring it down." He said, "You guys from out of town?" He said, "Bring it down." He said, "If I can't fix it right now," he said, "I will get it back to you by this afternoon." He said, "I can pretty much tell you what it is." Got down there and pretty much sure enough, it was a fuel separator on the side of the engine. So $300 later, a little over $300 later, but I got it back and it ran. So it didn't leave us stranded nowhere. So we were good.
Good.
So, hey, we're going to get back at them again this week. So, or next weekend. But I did get this cool little jewel in the
Yeah.
mail. A friend of mine sent me this.
Gonna
Thank
be
you, Troy.
mobile before long.
I am fixing to be mobile. It's a ICOM 4100A. So I got everything bought for it. Me and Wendy actually we went up to Atlanta this past weekend, and I got to go to Ham Radio Outlet. So it it wasn't as big of a place as I thought it was going to be.
Oh no, it's not that big, but it's got a lot of stuff in there.
It's got stuff packed in there, but I got all the stuff that I needed, and so I am I'm stoked, man. It's gonna be good. My antenna mount will be here tomorrow, actually. So I got one of the bulletproof diesels like you got. So I got a single antenna. So that's what I'm going to get to do this weekend. Hopefully, if all goes well. And let's see, that's probably it for me. What you been up to?
Well, you better do a shout out to some girls, or you're gonna be in trouble.
Oh, I got that coming.
Oh, okay, okay. I just want to make sure you didn't
Oh
forget
yes.
that.
Oh no, no, no.
Okay, I'm sending a quick text here before I forget it, or I will be in trouble. I am sorry to slow the show down for a second here. Uh,
All good. Hey, we have been talking on the radio quite a bit lately, though.
yeah, you got to check into a local net up here.
I checked into a local net, and as soon as I get my truck rig in, I couldn't check into the D Star net they had last night, but I will. I'll be able to hear pretty soon.
Good deal. Yeah, you'll be able to check in on D-Star and on System Fusion / Wires X.
Yep,
All
I
right.
can do the Wires X. I can't get in the Fusion side yet because
Well, you come in on Fusion when you come in at Kentucky room with your hotspot. Because Fusion runs on hotspots on reflectors, and Wires X runs in rooms and nodes. So uh, it's sort of hard to explain, but it's like Wires X has its own protocols and stuff, but then the digital radio using wire Fusion software built into the radio can connect to a hotspot, and the hotspot can connect to what you would pretty much consider like a repeater radio, which is called a bridge. And
hmm
that bridge can talk to the Wires X side and talk to the System Fusion side. It can cross mode that. And you also in a hotspot, you can now go from wire fusion YSF over to DMR, I think, and D Star, and vice versa, D Star to what. So it's hard to when you first get into it. After you start using it and figuring it out and stuff, it's still hard, but it makes a little bit more sense as you go along. I've been doing this for 4 years now, and I'm just now feel like I'm a novice. But
I, I have I have a couple D Star um,
local repeaters,
reflectors that I can hit close, so I can hit those with the
good.
truck, and I can get in them. And then the way I understand it, once I get in, then I can hop to other nodes to or other reflectors, whatever.
Depends on the repeater if they allow you to move the reflector. I guess it would be considered to another reflector, which if it's being used a lot, they may not, but if it isn't being used a lot, or if you can talk to local guys there on that and say, hey, I'd like to move to this room for the Kentucky, D-Star net or something. And then if you move that whole node, everybody there could check in on the same node with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So everybody that's hooked to that repeater can hear you talking to wherever it is you move the reflector to. This is a lot of ham stuff for Got Guns, but we'll
God and
you
hams.
guys that Got Guns and Hams, what somebody said we should call. But if you guys that are into ham, you know, or not about if you don't, we can teach you or we can try. I don't know we'll be that effective at it, but we'll try. So my stuff, of course, daily Bible reading. Been to South Fork. Been attending the South Fork pretty regular. Went to the men's prayer group. I guess was the last thing. Well, that was last week on the first, last Thursday. Um, let's see. I've talked about the Huntsville Ham Fest. I think last time we were here, maybe not. Did I talk about Huntsville? I don't. I guess I was getting ready to go to Huntsville last time.
Yeah, I think so.
So I went to Huntsville Ham Fest. Met up with Greg Hopkins, our friend, Greg Hopkins, author of um, what is the book? Is Time to Kill:
Time to kill.
The Myth of Christian Passivity, um, Pacifism. He took me out to lunch, and that was really nice while I was down there, and got to talk with him, spend some time with me. Took me to a local gun shop down there. That was a lot of fun. Greg's a great guy. He is into all kinds of stuff in his community and state. And if you don't have a copy of that book, you need to get one because you're wrong, as Professor Paul would say. Fix yourself. Get you a
Fix,
copy of that book. Fix yourself.
fix yourself.
Let's see. I got that CZ513 that I got on auction. It is over there on the bench. I got it cleaned up and lubed up and ready for action. Um, I've ordered a couple magazines. They have not yet come in for it. Clear my throat again. It was a really low price for a really immaculate looking gun, and I was not disappointed when I picked it up. I did end up. I can't remember if I talked about this or not. I did end up picking up a couple cans, or I didn't pick them up, but I put them on the long, slow train to China to get approval, and we'll see how fast those come back.
Did you do
I've
the
got,
electronic ones?
yeah, I did electronic, and it was all put in within a day. And it was in the next day. I got the next day. So got a little 22 can. I got a 300 or a 308 can. It'll work for everything. Universal can, or you can call it rifle can. Works a full auto and all that, but I don't have full auto, so really doesn't matter. But got that. The night vision has arrived, and I have been enjoying that out at night. I got a helmet in, came in um, like a day or two ago, but I haven't set everything up on it yet. I've been so busy with the usual stuff that's been taking up my time most of this year. Um, but I haven't even got out of the bag. You guys will see it when I see it here. But got me a bump helmet.
Look at
Got
that.
so I got a place to mount my night vision up here. Wilcox mount. I got a headset um, for it. Those came in today. They're over there. So they've got a radio on the headset, so it's ear protection. With Bluetooth, and then also I have a two-way radio. Uh, it's just a FRS radio. It mounts to it, and so I have comms, and I have a head unit, and I've got a IR light that came in to mount on the side here. So wherever I look, I'll be able to see. Got documentation falling out. Um, I'll be able to see all around me. More stuff falling out. Accoutrements. But they had a extra large size helmet size for my big old cow head. So get that rigged up, and then I'll be hands free. And I got our laser to put on my rifle, so I can point and shoot, see what I'm shooting at in the dark. All that fun stuff that everybody wants to do. I finally didn't buy anything but that rifle and a pistol this year. Everything else has been sort of saving up for night vision. Gunner is bringing me it as we speak. Thank you very much, Gunner. Gunner's my assistant tonight, but got that in. And so that will mount with a mount
BVS 14.
and put on my eyeball. I'll be able to see. But I've been going out, and I tell you what, you can see all kinds of stuff in the sky that you never saw before. That thing picks up the lowest amount of light, and it is crazy how many stars are in the heavens when you look up there with the night vision.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see all kinds of things I didn't know were up there floating around. But and then on the farm, it's just like daytime. On full moon, a lot of moonlight out. But I have a little cheapy IR light that came with one of the ATN scopes, and it's got a short throw on it. I was using it just go around it here. It would help out, close range or something. But I got one of the long throw for my rifle light, and I got a laser mount that mounts on the rifle. So that pretty much fulfills all my checklist. I don't really have anything else to buy. Just ammo to go shoot. I'm pretty much done buying guns, I think. And
Steve over on what is he on? One of the feeds. Let's see which one is he on. He's on the Facebook side, but he wanted to know do we do any nighttime hog hunting?
oh yeah,
Yes, we do.
yeah,
I
we'd
do.
like to
I
do
do a lot
more.
more than Troy does, but
Ain't no hogs up here yet.
no.
We got some black bears moved into the area, but we don't have any hogs yet.
If you're lucky, you won't get any hogs.
They're supposed to be down and along the Tennessee border. Supposed to be some hogs in there coming this way. So maybe soon, or than I was thinking. But I was surprised that there were already hogs in parts of western Kentucky, closer to the river, Mississippi, and some over in the state parks, national. Daniel Boone National Forest over in that area. There's some come up through, I guess, up through the mountains there. Stay in that heavily wooded area that not a lot of people live in. Moving up through there. Let's see. That pretty much has got my gun stuff for the week. Got stuff. Yeah. Did that? Had a family member He was a really great guy, a great chiropractor. He was a chiropractor of mine for a few years, and then uh, he's been helping me until he got sick. He got cancer, and he
Hmm.
passed away last week. His funeral was yesterday, so we went to that, and he'll be greatly missed. He was a great man. He was in the military. He was a medic, and he played football and was a big Kentucky fan. And of course, went to Palmer Chiropractic College out in Davenport, Iowa, and got it when he came out of the military and got his became a doctor. And he worked for 38 years, retired, and worked another 30 years for free, pretty much. And just really loved it. He'll be greatly missed. A lot of our family are still mourning his loss, and it was he was a great man. He was a good Christian man, and I really enjoyed his. He was a good friend as well. All right, see, got Hamfest coming up this weekend, and it's called the Louisville Hamfest, but it's actually in Shepherdsville. Coming up this weekend. I was planning on going to that, but my daughter is going to a ladies pilot exploration thing up in Louisville this Saturday, and it's at the same time. So I'm going to take her to that because she's interested maybe becoming a pilot. Uh, and my son is looking into it as well. I don't know if he's as interested as she seems to be, but going to take her up there. They're going to take him up for flight and explain to him flight training and stuff. There's a big demand for pilots. There's a lot of them retiring or have retired, and there's not a lot of people that are currently being trained to be airline pilots. And
Who'd you
so,
say wanted to learn to fly?
Audrey,
Audrey. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah, she's at a volleyball thing right now. They're doing evaluations tonight to see where they're going to put her at. I pretty much know where they're going to play her at because she's a back row monster. I mean, she goes and digs everything out, but she's a really good server. And but this year she's able to jump up and block over the net, which is quite accomplishment. She's only 5'2", but she can get up and tip the ball and block the ball and has been spiking it on the other side all summer during practice. So
Nice.
they told her she's going to get to play some front row. So she is excited about that. And she's up there right now. So y'all pray for her. She gets nervous whenever they talk about doing tryouts and evaluations, but she's I shouldn't talk about it much. Embarrasses every one of my kids don't like me to talk about them, but I'm proud of them. Let's
I
see.
know, right?
I know I'm proud of them. I'm proud of their accomplishments and proud of them taking chances. Daphne's just moving on up through the ranks and working hard. I'm just really proud of her. She's at Amazon. She's been there 3.5 years, and she's in the management stream, moving up through there pretty quick. So they've got her. They've moved her to every department, but one department, I think. And so that's going well. She seems to. She gets burned out from time to time. I said it's just part of the process. Just remember what your goals are and keep going.
That's it.
Let's see. EDC. Oh, I got my hay put up. I got my hay cut and baled. That was quite an accomplishment because I haven't cut or baled hay for many moons. So I was able to cut the hay and bale it. Had a few complications, a little bit learning curve, but I got it all done. But then my the pump, hydraulic pump went out on my tractor as I was getting the last 4 rolls of hay out of the field to go put them up, and it's under warranty, so they're coming to pick it up and take it up a new unit as soon as the
I was
unit
going to say,
shows
on
up
your new tractor?
on the new tractor. Apparently,
Uh-oh.
I've done wore it out, but they said it's the first one they've ever had reported of one going out. But they came to the field, tested it, checked it out, said sure enough, it's not pumping any fluids. It had plenty of fluid in it, no warning lights or nothing went off. It just all of a sudden just lost power. So they're coming to pick that up probably first of next week. Pump was supposed to come in today, and they'll get that fixed. So that's the farm stuff. Ham stuff we already talked about, and that's pretty much my week or last couple of weeks. Enjoying South Fork, enjoying the sermons there, and it's good being back with the guys I used to serve as deacon with for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
Served as a deacon there for 15, 16 years before we moved to Calvary. And, but I tell you what, it just seems like there ain't enough time for anything. It seems like I'm more busy now than I was when I had all 4 kids at home and working on the road, and had 2 jobs when I was working all the time. And then, but now I seem more busy than I was before, carrying the Shadow Systems XR920, got the Crimson Trace red dot, and the Surefire XT1 light. And of course, it's got the glow in the dark sights, the night vision sights that comes on it, mounted on it from the factory. And I really, really enjoy this gun a lot. And I got out this week. Did get to do a little shooting. It was raining, and I've got a steel plate course at the back of my yard at the edge of the woods. And I got out the old Ruger Mark II integrally suppressed pistol I've had for 20 something years, 25 years. So got it out and went to go shoot it, and it was dirty. I was like, oh man, I forgot to I forgot to clean that last time. And if you ever clean the baffles on a 22, you know my pain, because they are a beast to clean. I'm turning my radio off because somebody's getting ready to start a net or something else. Make sure they didn't start talking over the top of us. But I cleaned all the baffles out, and man, I hate cleaning those baffles. They are a pain. It took me an hour to get everything cleaned, and then I went out and started shooting again. The trouble with the integrally suppressed or 22 suppressors, if you don't clean them out, they will stop firing. They'll get so much buildup in them that they'll cause your bullets to get deflected inside the suppressor. You don't want that. So after about every, I don't know, 200 rounds, I'll take it apart and clean it. But got out and sighting it in. Apparently the sights got off somehow, and they were off about 4 inches at 60 yards to the left. And so I found the plate and started ringing it, and adjusted my sights, and boy, she's dead on now. Just sitting out there. I got one of those little plates. It's like a 1/4 silhouette size, and then it's got like a little steel plate on the side,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's got a circle down the center for a heart shot. And I got to where I was hitting that little plate. And it's probably 2-inch circle, hitting that at 60 yards with just some CCI standard ammo. And then I was knocking the little head around, the little hostage head. I don't know if you've seen those, but it's got like a swing around plate on the top. I was hitting that pretty regular, but that was a lot of good therapy right there. Getting out and shooting that, cheap fun. Once you got the investment, the 22 is pretty cheap, even compared to the rest of the ammunition out there right now. What are you packing tonight?
Oh, I got the little pocket gun tonight. The Sig P365, the standard one, but it does have night sights on it. And dude, I've been carrying this little joker around everywhere. It'll fit in your pocket and just disappear.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like it a lot. But
I
we
carry
went
the
gator
X.
hunting the other day. I had my Glock with me. I left
Oh yeah.
the little peepopper at the house and took the Glock down. Of course, one of the guys. He had a chest rig he's got a 44 mag Smith and Wesson just like mine, and he had it in a chest rig, and I had my 9mm on. Of course, I was manning the 44 mag bang stick just in case we got one hooked up.
Yeah. Yeah, we like that. That's Steve. He's a local ham here in Kentucky. He's a recent transplant. So, yeah, we like that nighttime hog hunting, Steve. I got some video. I'll show you next time we see you, maybe at the meeting, of me taking some down with my night vision. I mean, with a thermal scope. It's part. One of your videos is up on our intro.
Yeah, it is.
So, but yeah, Steve, I'll show you some video that he came back to me what was it, Tuesday night, after you checked in the net, and then you went dead. He checked in and said that the thing was up, so it must be your hotspot or something, was because I couldn't hear you at all. But when we switched over to American Rag Chew, I could hear you. So I don't know.
I wasn't. I was trying to connect last night to that um,
Wires,
wires.
KY4X.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to connect into it last night. It would not lock up.
Huh. I know that they had at one time they had two reflectors connected to it. Um, they had one down in Springfield, Tennessee, and they had one up in Horse Cave that were both connected to it. But I don't know if they don't have it on during the net, if that's what it is or not. I'll check with William see if we can find out what's going on.
I
Eric
don't know.
might be out here tonight.
On the on the net the other night, I didn't have any problems. It worked great. I could hear everybody. They heard me, and
Yeah,
it worked fine. But it's like not long after the net, it disconnected me. So not sure if they turned it off or what.
I don't know. Steve said he was coming in through the reflector, so I don't know what might have been the problem. With the digital stuff, it's finicky. And your internet decreases speed or something, or it'll bump you off. There's all kinds of stuff with those hotspots. They're not the best way to get into something, but
Well, I mean, I got off of that Kentucky one and jumped over to American Rag Chew. Got on that one, and I mean, it locked right up. I was like,
yeah,
okay. And then I got on America Link, and then I like to never got out of America Link because I couldn't jump out of it because people were talking on it, so it wouldn't give it a break.
yep, yep.
But then I jumped off of it and I tried to get back on the Kentucky one again, and it just sat there. It just flash. It wouldn't connect.
They must have taken it offline. I don't know. I think it might be one of the members' reflectors, and he disconnects to it when he wants to use it for a net or something, but not certain. Hmm. Oh,
I did get a chance to hit Larry up today though, so um, he's
in
gonna
N4H. Yep.
yep, he's gonna send me the a file to drop on this radio, so I don't have to add all the the reflectors and stuff in there by hand.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah,
He is he is a great ambassador for ham radio, and people don't realize how much he does for the community across the whole country. I mean, it's not just local. He hooks up guys all over the country that are trying to get into D Star, DMR, and uh,
well, he hooked
everything.
me up when I got this little hotspot, and
Yeah,
he got me jamming on that thing.
yeah. I see you got a joke for us.
I do got a joke. Um, a teenage girl brings her new boyfriend home to meet her parents. Uh, they're appalled at his haircut, his tattoos, and his piercings. Later, the girl's mom tells her, "Honey, he doesn't seem like a very nice boy." "Oh, mom, please," said the daughter. He, and if he wasn't nice, he wouldn't be doing 500 hours of community service. He's a rock star.
Yeah, it might be forced community service.
It probably ain't out of the goodness of his heart.
That's a good one. I have not heard that one before.
I hadn't told that one.
Now we'll have some listener that will find offense with, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with tattoos and then body piercings and community service." Like, there ain't nothing wrong with you. Do what you want to do. I don't care. But if you're gonna date my daughter, and you come in like that, we might have to have a little longer conversation to do a little vetting on that.
Exactly. Hey, there's Brian on here with us tonight too.
Cool, man. Everybody's on here tonight. Must
Yeah,
be a slow Friday night for everybody. They're
hey,
gonna
we
come
got
on our show.
YouTube's kicking over there. There's several people over there, and
Yeah.
hey, everybody, make sure you go hit the like button and share if you can. Share this out. See if we can't make YouTube give us back some of our subscribers.
Man, we lost so many subscribers when they just stripped us of everything.
Oh, I know.
And it's not happened just once. It's happened multiple times. They just
Multiple
went through and we would have all these hundreds and thousands of people and they're gone.
gone.
Oh man.
We
It
got
was
50. Oh, we got
yeah.
50 people watching now. Yay.
Yeah, cool. But we're over on Rumble too. So if you not got a Rumble, can't get one because never know, man. Getting close to election, we might disappear again or not be in your feed anymore. Mm-mm-mm.
Right.
Oh man. So you got this day in history.
I got a couple of this day in history.
Good deal.
Today's highlight in history, September 9th, 1957. President Dwight Eisenhower signed the first civil rights bill to pass Congress since Reconstruction, a measure primarily concerned with protecting voter rights. It also established the Civil Rights Division in the United States Department of Justice, which I thought was kind of interesting, but Department of Justice isn't much justice lately, doesn't seem like. Second one, also on this day in history, September 9th, 1994. My wife gave birth to our triplet daughters at 4:01, 4:02, and 4:03 a.m. in the morning. Today is their birthday. Happy birthday, girls. I couldn't be more proud of y'all. And I hope you had a great day. We're going to celebrate with them tomorrow. We're actually going to go out to eat. And then, believe it or not, we're going axe throwing.
Cool. They've got one of those up here in Elizabethtown, or they did have, and they had leagues and stuff, sort of like bowling. They go
Uh,
throw axes and hang out and stuff. Yep, and the world's never been the same since that date.
it
Those
has
girls
not.
have rocked the world. Georgia, parts of Kentucky.
Yes, they have.
You got
They
some beautiful daughters there.
28 years old today. It's hard to believe, man.
I know. Man.
It seems like yesterday they were just little things.
I remember when y'all first came to church after they were born. First time y'all came up and visited, uh, and man, you had a throng of people around you all with all those triplets. Everybody was holding babies. Y'all look so tired. I'm like, man, I could not imagine taking care of three newborns or
Pe-
three toddlers at the same time. My gosh, it had to be crazy.
People are like, "Can I hold one?" I'm like, "Absolutely."
Hey, look who's in the house. Yo, brother.
What's up, little brother?
How you doing, John? Busy protecting
Cheeky.
them Fords tonight? Are you up at where are you at tonight?
What is tonight? Tonight's Friday, right?
Yeah.
I think he's protecting state troopers tonight.
Oh, on guard. Good deal.
Oh, he said no. He's on guard.
Cool. Make more money there, probably. All right.
Yeah.
So let's see. Bible verses tonight. I got a few Bible verses. We're going to hit a few here. I'm going to see if I can grab them, if my computer will let me share them. I will share a screen. Come on. I hate when they update stuff and you're trying to find it. And like, wait a second, it was right here. There we go. We're going to be in Ephesians. And this is under the whole armor of God. But finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers, this present darkness, against spiritual forces in heavenly places. And so, therefore, take up the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand the evil day and stand firm. Having, well, I'm not going to read all of that tonight, but I have some other verses we're going to talk about too. Let's see if I can get that one up. Take this one down. Well, I don't know if these are going to pop up or not, but we'll go ahead and go this. 2 Corinthians 12:10. For the sake of Christ, that I am content with my weakness, insults, hardships, persecution, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. And then verse 9, I should read that first, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast more gladly of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. So, what are you saying, Troy? Well, I'm saying, how strong are you? And strength is measured in lots of ways. Primarily tonight, we're going to be talking about your spiritual strength and your physical strength, because you need one or you need both. But we're limited in our physical strength. We can only lift so much weight, and we can only run so far, and we can only endure so much until we finally are weakened to the point we are no longer able to perform, right? We're no longer able, at some point, we've got to sleep, right? At some point, we've got to rest. But spiritually is the same thing. We can take and go to spiritual battle if we're well equipped, if we're well trained, if we are prepared for the spiritual battle that we're in every day. But just like being physically strong, spiritual strength requires exercise. It requires reading the scriptures, knowing how to refute lies when you encounter them, knowing how to refute the lies of the devil, knowing how to withstand attacks, spiritual attacks. And let me tell you, the spiritual attacks can come from the people closest to you. It's not that they necessarily are intending to. The devil knows where your buttons are, right? The devil knows
Yeah.
where your weaknesses are. He's looking for any chinks in your armor in which he can stick in that knife and twist. So, are we being physically strong? Let's talk about that first. I had, growing up, I was overweight always as a kid. I mean, from the time I found out about French fries, I was a big boy. And so I had battled weight all my life. But God gifted me with a lot of strength to go along with that, to be able to pick my big butt up. I had big legs to carry me around, right? But I had a lot of strength. And so God had gifted me with strength. But, we can rely on our own strength and feel secure when we're not, right? Because our strength can be taken from us. I found that out the hard way. I
Yeah.
was I was 33 years old, and I was still lifting weights like 18-year-old. I was still leg pressing 2,000 pounds. I was still benching 450, 500 pounds. On my good days, I was still working out hard. And all that, I thought was, making me strong. But like that, I blew out 3 discs in my neck, and I was in constant pain, and I was on my back. And what was I doing? I was praying to God. What was I doing? I was all big and bad in my physical side, right? But my spiritual side, yeah, I was attending church and I was a good guy and I was a deacon and I went to church stuff. But was I really deeply working my spiritual strength? And let me tell you, God will use whatever He needs to get your attention. In my case, He put me out on my back in extreme pain, so much so that the pain meds they were putting me on, I couldn't drive. They were too strong. They weren't doing any good. And so I tell you guys, I prayed constantly for 6 months for God to release me from that pain, to help me be able to get past that pain. I understand pain. I understand the never ending, constant pain. It's like the worm that eats, right? You just never stop hurting. Uh, but by God's grace, after a 6 month period, a friend of mine gave me a product which caused that pain to go away within a week. God answered the prayer. And from then on, I learned I am totally in God's hand. Wherever
Good.
I go, wherever I do, it's by God's grace. Every breath I take is by God's grace. Uh, God changed my heart from being one of a prideful, self-strong, gun-ho American. We can do anything, because I was doing it in my own power, right? So our strength is important, and it's important to work out and be in good shape and be healthy. And I've many days of my life have not been. But I'm constantly striving to try to be more healthy and trying to do things. You guys know the process I went through the last year or so. During that, I lost both parents. I lost my grandmother within a year period of time, which was really a matriarch of our family in a lot of ways, uh, and sort of glued the family together. Um, we've had all kinds of onslaughts. And so the spiritual attack in this last, I would say, 16, 18 months has been enormous, enormous. But through it all, I found that my spiritual side is what's carried me through. The time that I've invested in the scripture, God prepared me for it. God started calling me to study the Bible. Started calling me to spend more time in prayer, in fasting, and putting focus on, because He knew what was coming. God knows what's happening. He's preparing you. So It's important that we take our lives and examine them. As Paul says, we should examine ourselves and see where is it that we're weak, and we need to work on those areas. We need to allow the Holy Spirit to come in and identify things in our lives that were showing us a weakness. Just like if you went to the gym and you got a coach, and the coach looks at you and says, okay, well, you need to start working on this, and they start watching you work out, say, okay, you need to work on this technique. In the same way, in our spiritual side, the Holy Spirit comes in and starts, if you allow, and start spending time in the word being the Bible. Start studying your scriptures, start reading, to start anywhere. Pick up a reading plan and start reading. Or you can get like a U version online. You can go there and they have different types of Bible studies based upon topics. So if you say, I need help in the workplace, there's probably 50 different workplace Bible studies that goes through scriptures, explains it to you. You can work that. You have to start working on yourself physically and spiritually, because you need to have the physical strength to do the things you need to do during the day, and to be able to stand the battles that we withstand, and to protect your health. But on the spiritual side, it's much more important that we are putting our faith and trust in God and His provision. So I want to read to you another verse here, um, because there's a flip side to the spiritual that doesn't exist in the physical. So the physical, you work on, you find your weaknesses, you build and try to grow those things. You build up your cardio, you build up your ability to get more oxygen in, and through sprinting and open up your lungs. All these things that you do to build up your body, to build up, give you strength, so that you have good core strength, all those things. But on the spiritual side, it's a little bit different in that. Let me pull up the Bible verse here for you. I'll read it real quick. 2 Corinthians 12 verses 1. We're not going to go through 21, but I'll go down here for a little bit. I will go on boasting, though there's nothing to be gained by it. I will go on to visions and revelations. Lord, I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up in the third heaven, whether in body or out of the body, I do not know. God knows, and I know that this man was caught up into paradise, whether in the body, out of the body, I do not know. God knows, but he had heard things that cannot be told, which man may uttereth on behalf of this man. I will boast on my behalf. I will not boast except in my weaknesses. So Paul was boasting in his weaknesses. Again, you'll see Paul talking about that he's all the time in his weakness, that he is boasting about the power of God. So as a spiritual person, and oddly, as I was studying these verses, it was part of a reading plan, but the pastor this Sunday was talking about a similar tact about that God is our power, right? God is our strength on the spiritual side, and that when we are weak, God is made manifest, right? God is able to be called upon in our weakness, right? We tend to, as believers, will go as far as we can go. We'll exhaust all of our physical strength, all of our mental strength, all of our finances, right? We'll blow through all of our money to try to fix these problems, to try to take care of these problems. We'll even, our family, will stretch them as far as we can a lot of times before we ever turn to God. And God says to bring him our burdens, to bring him our concerns, to not fear, to turn things over to him. And a lot of times we will wear ourselves down to nothing because God's waiting on us to ask for help. And there's a real good, there was a time in my life, and I've told, if you guys have been around a long time, you know about this, but it's very applicable, and that's what I'm going to share again now. When I was in college, my parents had the means to, during the summertime, for my birthday gift every year, I wanted to go travel. And so they would buy me a plane ticket to Europe, and I would fly into England usually. And they would buy me a Eurail pass, which is a pass that's for a certain period of time. So I would have like a month off during the summer vacation time from work, and I would go and get on a train, and I would travel all over Europe. And so that was what I did for my summers when I was in college. My parents did for me. It wasn't, it was a gift. It wasn't anything I could afford to do on my own. and you would say youth hostels, like $5 a night, and just take a backpack and just travel and see all of everything I could see. And I would meet up with other people from different countries, Germany, Germans, and other Americans, and people. It was a great time. But I got on this train, and I was going to meet up with a friend I had down in Spain, and I was in France at the time, and we were on this night train. It went from France to the border of Spain, and I was going to get another train there and go on to Madrid to meet up with my friend. And so I get to the border, and the train conductor comes by, and he says, you have to get off here." And I'm like, "No, this is not my stop. I'm going on into Spain." He goes, "No, you can't. You have to get off here. You can't get." Wouldn't let me continue on. Made me get off the plane. I was like, "Get off the train." And I'm like protesting with him, like, "No, I need to go on into Spain." And he was belligerent. "You have to get off." And they were holding the train. And I was like, "Okay." So I took my bag, went off, walked in the train station, walked in, said I needed the next train to Spain, and they wouldn't speak to me in English. And I didn't know French, and I tried to talk to them a little bit in Spanish. They wouldn't talk to me in Spanish. We were right there on the border. I know they knew Spanish, uh, but they wouldn't speak to me in Spanish, and so I spoke to them in German. Well, they spoke to me in German. So in German, I asked them, next train to Madrid, and they go, "Oh," and they said 4:30. This was at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, 4:30, and he's like, "Yeah." He took his hand, put it on the clock. We're around 4:30. I'm like, "I've got to go now. I've got a train connection I've got to get to over there." And they shrugged their shoulders and turned around and started serving someone else. I walked over to the little ticket stand they have there, and they have the schedules, so little printed out little cards. And I'm like, "Surely he's not. I mean, it's just right there. It's got to be another train coming through." Well, then, sure enough, next train was like 4:20 something. Would be the next train going to Spain. I was like, "Man," and I didn't know what to do. I had no ability to do anything on my own at that point, right? I got it put me in a position where they were not wanting to speak to me in English. They were not helpful. They were not giving me options. And I like, "Hey, I've got to get over there. I don't know how to get from here to there." I'm thinking, "What will I do?" And so I just dropped my head, and I just dropped my head and I prayed. I said, "God, you've got to help me because I don't know what to do." And that was my prayer. And I raised my head up. And as I raised my head up, this girl came walking in from the street into this train station, walked straight up to me. A blonde girl, same age as me, probably, 20, 21, something like that. Perfect English. "You need to come with me." And I'm like, "Where are we going?" She says, "I've got a car. I've got a taxi. We're going to the train station and over on the Spanish side." I was like, "Oh." She said, "Grab your bags, let's go." And so I grabbed my backpack and I took a duffel of gifts that my parents had sent to my friend in Spain, his parents. And so I like, "Okay." And so I get back up. I never met this girl, never saw her before, didn't know who she was, never said what her name was, but perfect American style English. It wasn't a British English, anything. Picked up my bag, walked out there. I'm thinking, I'm getting ready to get rolled. So I grabbed a little Swiss Army knife I had my side compartment in my backpack, and I just slipped it in my pocket as I was getting my bag up and walked out with her. And they had the trunk open. He said, "Put your bags in the back." So I put your bags. Said, "You need your passport?" That's okay. I had it in my pocket. Got in the car, and she tells him something in French, and off we whisk away and take off. And she said, "Oh, he'll need your passport." So I handed her my passport, and she got her passport, and she had a Belgian passport. I remember it was a maroon color and had Belgium on it and stuff. She passed it up to the driver. The driver pulls up to the French side of the checkpoint. He waves the passports out. The guy just waves him through, doesn't stamp anything, doesn't look at anything. Go on over to the Spanish border, border Spain. He flips out the two passports. They look in the back and hands the passports back. Doesn't stamp them or anything. Pull up to the train station within a minute or two, and she said, how much it was. And I gave her, the money, and she paid him. She gave her money and went back to the trunk, got my bags out. And so I'm getting my bags out and organize myself. She said, "Oh, you'll need to hurry. Your train's on platform 5 and it leaves in about 5 minutes. You're gonna have to hustle to get there." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm thinking, I didn't tell her where I was going or what train I was getting on or any of this stuff. And I said, thank you and everything. She said, oh, no problem. So I've been over, reached down, picked up my bags and raised up, and she's not there. The taxi's pulling away, and we're like 50, 60 yards from the front of the train station at like a taxi drop off little circle. I look, she's not there. She's not in the car. She didn't get back in the car. She was just standing there, and I raised up, and she's not there. And I thought, well, man, she must have sprinted, man. But there's no way she could have got. I mean, it's bent down and raised up, and she was not there. And I'm like, that's weird. So I'm walking up to the train station, and I walk up to the ticket booth. I was like, she didn't know where I was going. How would she know what platform, what the platform was on? It wasn't platform 5, it was platform 6. Sorry. She told me platform 6. And so I'm like, so I'm just sort of bewildered. You know, I'm in this little fog, like, what just happened? And I walk up to the train station, and I said, Madrid. And the woman said, I said, what platform is Madrid? And she raises her hands up, 6. I was like, the cold chill just ran all over me. I was like, well, that was weird. And she goes, taps the watch, like, you got to go. And so I took off, and I walked down, got down on the platform, walked up. I stepped on the train, the last train car, the first one I came to. And as soon as I stepped on the platform, the train started moving. So I'm like, well, this is wild. So, but I hadn't had a chance because I would have had time if I got bumped off the train to stop and get some water and food because I hadn't picked up anything. And so I walk up this car looking for a place to sit. And I had the pass I had, I could sit pretty much anywhere I wanted to. Any of the different cars, they have different classes based upon your ticket price. And I just walked up, found the car, it was empty. One of the rooms was empty, sat down in it. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, I don't have any water, I don't have any food, and this is like a 7 or 8 hour, ride, and I don't, there wasn't any food services on this train that I was on, and so I sit down there and I'm like, man, I wish I had something to eat, and so I just dropped my head and said, Lord, I'd like something to eat. Help me find something to eat, and within 15, 20 seconds, 2 Moroccan men walk in, had all the garb on, come up, knock on the car and open the door. And I said, is anyone sitting here? I'm like, no, go ahead and sit down. And he goes, oh, American. And he first asked in Spanish, but I said, no, in English. And he said, oh, American. He said, this will be wonderful. I was like, and he was speaking really good English. It was a British, English. It wasn't American English. And so he introduces himself and his father. They'd been on holiday from Morocco up to England to visit family, and they were on their way back, and they were going through Madrid on the way. And so, long story short is, I'm sitting there, I'm hungry. They break out bananas and bread loaves and stuff that they picked up in big water bottles, and I'm sitting over there. He goes, it was lunchtime. He said, oh, you're not eating? I'm like, no, I didn't have a chance to get any food at the last stop. My train I got delayed and didn't make the train in time. He goes, oh, and he reaches, he's got a burlap sack, big burlap. That's what they were carrying, a burlap sack. And he had all this food. He pulled out a big old baguette, a big French bread, like that big, and gave me like 3 bananas and gave me a big bottle of water. And they gave me another big bottle of water. He said, here. I said, that's okay. I said, how much do you owe you? Oh, no. He wouldn't take anything. Wouldn't let me pay him for nothing. And so here I am. I've got water, I got bread, and I got bananas within just a few, I don't know, hours or so of him getting in the car with me and us talking. But he was an English teacher in Morocco. And so I had someone to talk to on the whole trip all the way down there. But it was just God showing that no matter where you're at, if you turn to him, and I'm not saying there'll be a miraculous thing. I don't know if that would, I guess that's considered, it's supernatural. I don't know if it would be considered a miracle because it wasn't like divine healing or anything like that. But it was that God answered my prayer when I had no other option, right? When I turned to him. And so what Paul is saying here is that if we realize that we're poor, weak, and blind, right? We think we know we got things in control. But at any point in time, we could be upside down, backwards, not knowing what in the world's going on. The world will throw you those kinds of fits. The world will attack you like that. The world will drag you down, beat you up, and kick you to the curb. And if you don't have the spiritual backing of the Holy Spirit of God, being able to turn and lay your burdens down, like the life of Job, right? Job was attacked in every way possible. The only thing he was spared from was death and his wife, but he was in every way attacked to try to get him. And what was his thing? He turned to God. He said, I, I'm turning to you. He pleaded to God. He pleaded to God over and over and over again. And Paul says that our weakness is where God reveals himself. And so in our spiritual life, we can pray and we can and study the Bible, but at the end of the day, it's not our strength that takes us through. It's God's strength. It's the Spirit of God indwelling us that allows us to have that strength. So we have to make sure that even though we're doing our part to be more holy, and that's a process of sanctification, it's a process of the Holy Spirit working with you while you're trying to get closer and closer to God. Your responsibility is to get to know God better and be more like him, right? So we do that by knowing who God is. We know that by reading the scriptures. We know that by praying and speaking with God and listening to God's voice. And the more time you spend investing time with God, the more strong that relationship is, and the more quickly you are to turn from trying to take care of the problem on your own to turning it over to God. And my grandfather was a great example of that. I remember every time I went to him when I was having a problem, I would go to him, and the first thing he would do is not try to fix the problem. He wouldn't try to do anything about the problem. He would say, okay, let's go to God in prayer. And so we would sit down and he would start praying, and he would pray that God would reveal to me what I needed to do, that God would provide what I needed to have to be able to get through it. And I would learn from this experience about what God wanted to teach me from the experience. And I can remember him doing that. But yet I didn't remember it till I was, older. And after he passed, it would be, God would remind me, your granddad would sit down with you. Anytime there was an issue that I would bring before my grandfather, because my grandfather was a prayer warrior. My grandfather Leon was a prayer
He
warrior,
was.
and so, and he wasn't born that way. He didn't raise up in a family like that. His family was pretty rough and tumble, and they were spiritual and they went to church and all, but he comes from a pretty rough background, and God had molded him over the years. I remember my dad telling me stories about my grandfather and how God had changed him through the years, and how he had turned him more and more into the image of God, and how he had softened him and worked in him. And I saw that even in the short period of time that I knew him. I mean, I knew him for 30 years before he passed, 35 years or so before he passed. But I remember when I was really young, he was a very hard man. He was very demanding, hardworking. He didn't put up with no kind of, whining, complaining. He was going to be a man at age 4, whether you want to be or not, right? He was a very demanding person, but as he continued to mature and he grew more spiritual and things, and I remember how God had given him a more grace filled life, and how he was more graceful to other people, and how as he matured. So it's important that we understand that the most powerful we can be is in our weakness. And we're not claiming that we have any kind of power apart from Jesus. Jesus is the one who's paid the price. He's the one that has the power. We're just plugged into the vine, right? And so if we're staying in the scripture, if we're staying in the word, if we're staying plugged in uh, with a regular conversation with God, and that's not just every day you give him a laundry list of the joyful things that you want to happen in your life, but you pray with him over concerns in your life, that you reveal all of the problems in your life, and that you confess your sin. Uh, is so important, guys, to confess your sin. I was sitting one Wednesday night, I was sitting in this room and I was hearing these two men have this conversation, and they were totally not believers at all. But I was doing my thing and I was waiting to pick up my daughter, and I'm hearing this conversation, and the things that they talked about was all worldly. It was all about what kind of money they had, what kind of car they had, what kind of vacation they were taking. They're talking about his girlfriend, and where him and his girlfriend went. Well, he had a wife he was talking about before that, so was having an affair on his wife. The other guy was laughing and how wonderful that was, and all that stuff. And I'm like, Lord, how lost these men are, and how wicked they have, and they think that that's normal. And I'm just thinking the calamity that's going to come upon them. And I turned to go to speak to them, and they just get up and they walk off. It's like I was getting ready to say, what are you talking about? And I was sort of eavesdropping. I'm thinking, these guys need Jesus, but they get up and they walk away. So I had my opportunity, and I didn't, chase them down and start sharing the gospel with them. But the world is a very lost place. Our culture right now accepts so many things as being okay, and just the way God said, look how your life. It's sort of like God said, look how your life would be if you continued down this path of my younger days when I was walking away from God, when I was not being obedient to the word, when I was not heeding the instructions that I've been raised with, and how vapid and just wasteful and just, I mean, it was such a hollow, shallow life. I couldn't imagine them having any enjoyment in whatever it was that they were participating in, because there was nothing there. Nothing that was securing them. They were just sort of like trying to find joy in every different avenue. They were talking about the drinks that they drank, and then they were talking about the perversions they did. And I was like, man, what a sad life. What a pitifully sad, hopeless life that they live. And I thank God for calling me away from that. I thank God for calling me out of that trajectory that I started on in my young age. And how he had uh, how he had gotten my attention through some very painful processes. Uh, we lost everything financially at 30, 38, 39, almost 40 years old. Everything I'd built up was gone. We had business issues and had to leave my job, switch careers, and I lived by God's grace alone, raising four kids on a meager amount of money. For a period of about 10 years, God just kept me there to teach me a lesson. And so in that, I learned that, I survived by God's grace. And during that time, I had that physical destruction to my neck, all those things. God showed me that is by his grace that I'm allowed to be here. Every day is a gift from God, and I need to be making sure that and it's not a threat. It's just that I understand that I'm here for his good pleasure. And whenever God sees that I'm not of use for him anymore, then he'll take me home. I understand it. And Paul says the same thing. Whether I go or whether I stay, if I stay, it's for the betterment of you guys. If I go, it's for my betterment. But whatever God wills. And so he was ready to die. He was ready to be with Jesus, right? Because he had a relationship that was with Jesus that was so strong that he knew what was coming was better. Even death as being the doorway of getting to that. He knew that that was better than staying here physically alive. And so that's where we have to remember that God's calling us to quit worrying about the physical, right? God continuously says, quit worrying about the terrestrial. Quit worrying about food. I've got all the food. Quit worrying about where you're going to sleep. Quit worrying about what you're going to wear. Quit worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. Focus on today. Focus on me, and I will take care of you. And as I've learned that over the years, that strength, that is spiritual strength, that when you realize you're in God's hand and nothing can pluck you out of God's hand, and that the first place you need to go with every problem is prayer. And the first time if somebody comes with you with a problem is you turn them to prayer. The pastor we had at our previous church, one of the first times I met him, and I expressed concern, he said, let's pray. He didn't say, oh, you should do this or you should do that. If you got a pastor who starts telling you what you should do and doesn't take you straight to prayer, that's not the pastor you want. I'm just telling you, if your pastor doesn't turn straight to prayer, first off, because God is the answer of all your problems, right? God has the answers. God has the resources. God has the ability to put you where you need to be at. But the first thing you have to realize is that you have no strength in your own. As physically strong as you are, don't matter how much money you got in the bank. I can tell you, God can take that bank account and it be gone, literally, and within a matter of days. And whenever you get in those times, that's God. I'm telling you, it's God trying to get you to focus on Him, to turn you away from the lust of this world, to turn you away from the things that are temporal, right? You might have a great big house, you might have a wonderful car, you might have all kinds of toys and stuff like that, and they can be taken away like that. All that stuff can go away. Well, where are you going to turn then? And God, well, if He loves you and He loves you, and you have a relationship with Him, He's going to call you back. So it's important that we remember that we are most effective as a believer when we are totally reliant upon Jesus. We're not relying upon how much Bible knowledge we have, although you should know the Bible, you should study the Bible, you should know what the scriptures say, know the context in which it was written and who it was delivered to. But it's also paramount that you understand that God is the one who has the strength and power. He's the source of all that. And so we can't boast in anything other than we know Jesus, and Jesus is our provider. Jesus is our Savior. Jesus is the one who has done all the work and deserves all the glory. We don't deserve the glory. God deserves the glory. But that's a little bit what I was talking about tonight. I have other Bible verses, but we're going a little bit long here. We're going quite way long. Wow. I got up on a soapbox here. I apologize, guys. Yeah, Eric, you're really late, but it's okay because I'm still running my mouth here. No, you're not that late. Glad to have you guys here with us tonight. We thank you so much for being here with us. And we also want you to like and share and all that stuff to try to get past the algorithms, because if not, only you guys will see us. We need you guys to help us out. Doug, chime in there.
I'm good, man.
Good deal. We also want to thank our bandwidth sponsor again, Primary Arms. I need to find some way to open this box up. I have left my knife up there on the bedside stand, and I had something here. Let's see if this letter opener will open up this tape. They have sent me a barrel, and I don't think it's going to cut this paper. Probably jam it in my leg. Have to wrap a tourniquet out and get myself out of here. I might get it. Let's see. They really taped it up good. Great job, guys. Oh, I do have a knife. I might have to stand up to get to it. Miltech knife. I think I got enough. I can rip it over. But if you guys haven't checked out Primary Arms, check them out. They got all kinds of gun.
Would you say they sent you a barrel?
Sent you that? Like, they want me to put it on a gun and try it out. So we'll have to get this out and put it in one of the rifle builds I got. Man, they got some good tape. So ill prepared tonight. Wait, I got a Benchmade knife in this drawer. Look at that. All this time I was sitting there missing this. I tell you what, getting old is not fun, guys. Man, that's some good rapid. Yeah, good shipping department there.
Yeah, we were gator hunting the other day, and I come out of the I come off the boat. We trailered the boat, and when I come off the side of it, I wasn't paying half attention because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I swung my leg over to get down, and when I did, there's a metal metal piece that sticks out on both sides of the boat on the front. It's got a circle in it where you can hook a rope to it or whatever when you're at the dock or
Uh-huh.
whatever you're doing. And I didn't see that, man, and I just swung my leg over and jumped, and the thing went right down my shin up to my
Ooh.
knee.
Ooh.
Ooh, buddy, you talk about hurt.
Ooh. It's all wrapped in cosmoline. I'm not getting that out. But it is a 16-inch 5.56 NATO Combat Series chrome lined AR-15 barrel. It's got a lifetime warranty. It's got a mid-length gas system, a 1-in-7 twist. It's got chrome lined chamber and bore, and it's got a GOV, I guess it's government profile, and it's from Expo Arms, is the manufacturer. So we will have to get that puppy out and put it on this flash suppressor they sent last month. An Expo Arms flash suppressor, and it's able to be used with a dead air 5.56 suppressor. So cool. So mount that on there and put that on a gun. I have to get all that cosmoline off that barrel, but
Hmm.
it will be not worried about getting rusted until then, because that cosmoline is some nasty stuff. You remember when Roses used to sell the surplus rifles,
Oh
the
yeah,
old the
I had a
AKs and the Mosin Nagants and
I had a British Enfield 303 I bought from 'em.
yeah, I had a 303, and I've still got two Spanish Mauser M43s, which were they were originally a longer barrel that they had rechambered for 308, and they cut them down to 18 and a half inches and put a flash suppressor on them. And man, those are great. Uh, uh, I had one I kept in the truck, uh, and I had one that I kept on the tractor. So when I was out riding the tractor, plowing, disking, or planting or whatever, if I saw a coyote, I had something to take them out with. But great little rifles. I think I paid $79 for those things.
They were
Yeah,
cheap.
no, Roses don't sell guns anymore. But yeah, I bought a Lee Enfield Jungle model, which was a shorter barrel, and I bought a Lee Enfield. Was it the Model 3? Seemed like a 3, which had the most of them had the straight bolt. This one had the turn down bolt on it.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, those were great guns to learn on. I
I
bought
should.
one and I got all the cosmoline cleaned out because it took you about 3 hours getting all that cosmoline off of. Got the bore out. Look, man, it had more pits in it than the I-65. I took it back to Roses. I said, I don't want this one. This was junk. They go, oh man, show them bore. They took it back, got me another one, and back before you had to do all that stupid background check, stupid stuff,
Hmm.
unconstitutional stuff. All right, we also want to let you know we got some more patches and stickers. Not many left of those. If you want to help the show, we've got a subscribe star account. You go to subscribestar.com/god and guns, and you can support our show that way. And we've got two more. Then we got the Armed Citizen of the Week.
Hey, PowerTac lights. Hey, I told you before I went on my gator hunt, I bought a 4200 lumen light, and oh man, it's bright. I ain't gonna lie to you, and it's a great flashlight. Only thing I didn't like about it, it's got a little bit wider throw range instead of being more of a beam, but worked great. We didn't get lost one time. Could light up the whole area and see what we wanted to see. So if you're looking for a light for a weapon, for your pocket, or for whatever you're doing, go check our buddies out at powertac.com. Use the promo code God and Guns. They'll give you 30% off for just listening to the show. So can't go wrong there.
Nope.
Also, Crossbreed holsters. Hey, Troy and I have carried with Crossbreed for years. We both like the Super Tuck Deluxe. That's
Yep.
that's my favorite one
They have a sale on those right now too.
on the Super Tucks.
Yeah, I saw email. There's a sale on 'em.
Well, I'm gonna go look, especially if I
Yeah,
got if I need a mini tuck for my little 365.
yeah. I love the mini tuck, but the super tucks were on sale. I noticed they
Nice.
sent a thing out about it.
But if you're looking for one, No matter
Yep.
what you're looking for or what kind of gun you're carrying, Crossbreed's got a holster for you. Go check them out at crossbreedholsters.com. Use the promo code G&G over there and get 10% off when you check out. So you can't go wrong.
Armistice of the week.
Eric said, Gator, I want a hog hunt.
Yep. I want to come back down for a hog hunt.
I know we need to get back after them.
Yep.
Put those thermals to good use. Anyway, NRA Armed Citizen of the Week this week, a resident of Webster, Texas apartment defending herself and others inside as an intruder broke in on May 30th, 2022. The incident happened around 9 p.m. that Monday evening when a man began to pound on the front door of the apartment. Eventually, the man managed to break down the front door, breaking the door frame in the process and making his way inside. Inside the home, the resident was not alone. There were also children present at the time. Once the intruder made his way inside, fearing for herself and the others inside the apartment, the resident retrieved a firearm and fired a single shot at the home invader. Her shot met its mark, subduing the man. When police arrived on the scene afterwards, they discovered the foiled home invader's deceased from his wounds. So she took him out. That comes to us from abc13.com in Dallas, Texas.
Don't mess with Texas.
Don't want to go to Texas.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up because I went way long there. You should have a timer there, Doug, and start ringing a bell at some point.
You was rolling, brother.
I get off on a rant, man.
That's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Appreciate you guys being with us. Please like, share, and tell your friends about what weirdos we are, and they have to come watch this freak show every week. But send your feedback to Troy@GuyGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GuyandGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review. That's it. And like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GuyandGunsPodcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. We have a Webcam page. We have a Rumble. It's live right now. We have a MeWe account. We are also on Truth Social. So we're over on the president's platform individually and over there as Guy and Guns page. So follow us over there or give us, I think it's a follow. Our website is guyandgunspodcast.com. guyandgunspodcast.com. Until next time, have a blessed week, Doug.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Night, y'all.
Y'all have a great night. Have a great weekend.